Hello, Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast viewer. We strive very hard for excellence here at the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, but today we did have a little bit of an audio issue, so I apologize. But this is such an exciting episode of Wandavision, and we are so excited to talk about it that I did not want to delay any longer, and there was nothing I could do to extract the sounds from some of the other microphones. It's part of the COVID times. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Let's get to the episode. Love you 3000.
Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we are discussing WandaVision, episode 5 of season 1, on a very special episode.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
And in our producer booth today, which is an ethereal thing that is in the multiverse of the internet, Matthew Fox. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm good. I was thinking I don't have a booth. Where did that happen? Is that like some
WandaVision? You're in the hot seat.
Just your entire state. That's your booth.
I'm in Minnesota. There's nothing hot here. If you can give me a hot seat, I'd be a lot happier. But yeah, no, this is an awesome episode, and we're already getting a lot of great comments from the chat. So I'm really excited to dive in and hear what you guys have to say.
Sweet. Well, we will get to the chat as quick as we can today because I'm sure there's lots of thoughts. Okay, this episode, spoiler alert, we're getting into it. Oh my gosh, there's so much.
Right? Spoiler alert, holy crap.
My favorite line in all television was in this episode. I can't think of a better line. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. She recast Pietro.
Oh yeah, she recast Pietro. Like that's the perfect way to like multiverse it out.
It was so wonderfully meta.
Yes,
it's meta in a way that I did not think they would go. Almost like it's so meta.
Well, like the great thing about it is that like Wanda gets to be in her universe in her little bubble, and they're watching, and then like Darcy and Wu and Monica on the outside looking in are effectively us, the audience. They are this podcast watching and going, wait a minute, hold on, I have theories.
It's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen because it's like all of us from the outside know that that's the Pietro from the Fox universe. So they just brought in a mutant. This is our first mutant on screen, like an actual actor from a Fox property in the MCU. This is mind-blowing, dude. Like, I mean, it's all hitting me. I'm getting chills thinking about, we have been talking about this for the possibility of this, and then just
for a while.
It just happened. And Darcy calls it out in such a beautiful, almost Deadpoolian way. She recast Pietro. Like that's, I can't even, man. They set up a show where they could have characters outside of the show discussing the show for this exact reason. And it is freaking beautiful. Just beautiful.
Right? Like, and this opens the door to any iteration of any character from past incarnations to just kind of show up.
Absolutely.
Because this is multiverse. Like, if we're looking at it from like how in universe they're doing it, like the most obvious thing is that this is a point of convergence across all of the multiverse, right? This little Westview anomaly it's an incursion point almost.
Yeah.
And Wanda seems to be kind of in control of it, like setting the production design on everything, but other people from other verses can show up and be like, hey, yo, I'm Magneto, I'm your father.
Yeah.
Because they named her parents. They named the Maximoff parents in this episode. Irina and Oleg were their names. Wow, it's crazy that I remember that. But they brought specifically those names up. Like, there's going to be a point of contention about that. There has to be. There are no coincidences in Marvel, Matt.
And as I shared in the chat, I have an off-the-wall theory about Wanda's mother that we'll get to when I'm chatting more.
Oh, is it Agnes?
Yeah, I think Agnes is like her mom survived somehow.
Ooh, interesting.
Agnes is her mom, and Magneto is their dad. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
I just can't even, man. It's an MCU way of doing this like a tasteful way. Like there's a lot of ways you could smush these two universes together for the first time. And like now that they've opened the door, I feel like they could just do it. They could just have this, like her pulling Pietro from another universe. Like, let's say she's pulling him from another universe because she can't maybe reverse death, but she like her like reality powers reached out into the multiverse and grabbed a living Pietro from another universe. And now we have a connection to the Fox universe. And like, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate it. And I thought for sure I'd hate it. I've been saying for years.
If they did it that way, like, I'd be mad. But they did it this way, and it's good.
I've been saying for years, if they brought Deadpool or Quicksilver over from the other universe, I'd be cool with it. But I couldn't see how they do that without doing the whole thing. Well, they just freaking did it. They just freaking did it. And, like... Okay, give me the over-under. Are they going to have one of those slow-motion Fox X-Men scenes where he runs around and touches stuff during this season of the show?
Oh, man. I want... Okay, if he's there and if he is Quicksilver, I don't know that they're going to do that with the production value unless it goes to... If he's trying to break out, like if he's trying to break out, then yes, they're going to do it. If he's not trying to break out, if he's just a part of the world, they're going to do it with the like production budget or whatever, the production value, production design of whatever time period they set it in. And like that sort of slow-mo is just way too advanced for TV in the 80s or 90s, you know?
Sure. No, I think he's getting out. Like we know... God, I'm so just like, well, we already know that there's this Spider-Man character of J. Jonah Jameson who apparently exists in both universes as the same character and actor with the same look. So like we already have that connection, but that's not a multiverse thing. That's just like, it seems like they just live in the same universe.
Do we though? Because we haven't seen J. Jonah Jameson before Spider-Man Far From Home, and Far From Home happens about 5 months after this event.
So... it's possible that J. Jonah Jameson, his multiversal connection to Spider-Man Far From Home is after this and caused by this, is what you're saying. Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Because he looks significantly older, right? Maybe it is because that universe is set, you know, like that universe is farther back or whatever. Like JJ crossed over because of the incursion. Like that's what's happening. Oh my God.
That is absolutely possible, and it is huge if so. Like, just bringing forward an X-Men character into this show in this way, it's just like, she says in this episode, there's some things you can't reverse, or some things that are permanent. You can't reverse death. Now, Vision may be a special case because he's a synthezoid, but, like... maybe she could not reverse Pietro's death, but had to find a Pietro that was living, and she did. She
reached out into the multiverse. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that.
She cherry picks what she wants from the multiverse, which is what we were doing. Absolutely.
Exactly. But now we get a Wanda that gets to do that, and like her parents are dead, but Pietro's aren't. So absolutely, they could bring Magneto in at the like. Fassbender as like Magneto could totally show up, and I would be cool with that, man. If it was Fassbender and Fassbender and McAvoy, the Professor X and Magneto in that show, we're working together in different ways. Like, what if they somehow use, I don't know, Kitty Pryde or whoever to get over to this universe and like cross universes, and like to find Pietro or whatever. And we never got that. That's one of the things I actually wanted from the X-Men movies that I don't think we ever gotten was the real connection between Pietro and Magneto. You know, like he was always wanting to connect with him, but I don't think he really did.
So, I mean, if you remember Apocalypse,
I try not to.
He tried to get in there. He was running across stuff.
Right.
Up to Magneto and like trying to be like, hey, you're my dad, but then he just kind of stopped.
Yeah. We never got that conversation where it's like, you're my dad.
Yeah, we never got their connection.
Yeah,
now, if you listen to the first arc of Monday Morning Movie Medics, you would absolutely have gotten that connection.
Yes, everybody check out.
They left to go be a bonding pair.
Check out that Stranded Panda podcast, Monday Morning Movie Medics, where they rewrite some of the worst missteps in various continuities.
We say that we've only had one arc so far.
Yeah.
The best reason to check it out is to encourage him to make more.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, we've got 7-ish hours of audio about Pirates of the Caribbean 4 on Stranger Tides, but, it's so much to edit.
It is a lot. Okay, so let's get back to WandaVision. That's a nice little plug for Monday Morning Movie Medics. Okay, so that's the first big thing. Second big thing, Wanda stepping out. We've been talking about what is that person stepping out. There was a trailer released this week.
What is that silhouette?
Yeah, there's a trailer released this week that showed that silhouette, and you could see the cape. And I was like, that's Wanda. That is just Wanda. It's just straight up Wanda.
I was thinking that it was too big a frame to be, like, too big a person to be Wanda. And I was definitely on, like, this is somebody dragging something or carrying something.
Yeah.
Or somebody walking a child into or out of the anomaly. But, I was right in that it was somebody with a cape dragging something. I was wrong that the frame was the wrong size. It's Wanda 100%.
She was dragging the drone, and like, it's such a great scene. It was
so menacing too. Like, God,
yes,
she was so scary.
I'm completely blown away by this episode. Like in a way that I was last week too. Last week was wonderful in like that it set everything up, and we finally got the outside world, and we got all this stuff revealed. This week was like moving the story forward, seeing her. Like that she has agency in this world. She knows what's going on. Viz says it. Viz says, I have to believe that you did this by mistake and then you just couldn't let it go. That's what happened, right? But no, we saw her go to that sword facility, get Vision's body and put it back together. Like that's, and yes, Viz is a corpse that has been reanimated by Wanda. So they went there. They went there. They even
went for
said corpse in this episode.
Necrophilia, yeah. But he's excuse me. He's not breaking down. Like, he's not decomposing from the look of it. So I guess vibranium prolongs the lifespan of the cells that it's bonded with.
Muzzynet in the chat just said, necrophilia confirmed.
It's rough.
It's so rough. It's so rough. We've been avoiding it. And we got feedback this week from people saying like it's not, because it's not a real body, it's a robot, but it's also mixed with human cells or whatever, or like organic cells. So yeah, it's a little weird. This is dark for a Disney movie.
Yeah. But it's not a movie, it's a TV series, which makes it worse.
I mean, have you seen The Mandalorian? Disney's going pretty dark these days.
Yeah, Disney's getting down there. But I want to, like you mentioned the sword facility with Vision there, like I want to talk about that because Vision being there, Vision being in that facility and being in pieces from what it looked like.
Yeah.
And the thing being sentient weapon
observation and response
division. Sentient weapon. Vision is a sentient weapon. Exactly that. And she was saying, it doesn't mean creation. But if they're breaking down Vision and examining him, that is very much that's a Vision Quest storyline from the 80s, but it's like, that's very much a sentient weapon creation thing. Like, they're doing bad stuff with the tech. Like, possibly. That opens up Armor Wars. Like wide open.
Yeah, well, they're definitely like examining him in a way that I don't trust an agency like Sword or Shield to do. Like it seems that they are doing some work to try to figure out what is going on under the hood of Vision. So yeah. So that Hayward knew it. So that's the first that is a little iffy. They even said that it was against his living will. So it's kind of neat that he had a living will, honestly.
Vision had a living will.
Isn't that neat?
Neat reveal there.
I knew it. I predicted it in season 2.
I knew it the whole time.
Living will confirmed. That's so
living will confirmed.
The other thing that is huge in this episode is that Vision, we get a much better sense of what is going on in Westview for the characters. Apparently, the humanoids know what is going on, and they're being tortured by it, according to Monica.
Humanoids?
Sorry, the humans. I don't know why I said humanoids. I guess because we're worried that some of them
Synthezoid humanoid.
we think that some of them are possibly demons or witches or whatever. The humans are all
Literally everybody.
Yeah, they all seem like they have they know what's going on in their head. They know they are being forced to act out this world, and it's torturous to them, according to Monica.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was terrifying. It was invasive. What was the term that she used, or that Monica used in her violating?
Yeah,
violating was the word.
Yeah, that's it. So it's all those things, which is horrible and awful.
And you can see it whenever Vision wakes Norm up.
Yeah. Oh man.
With his weird touch power, and the way that Norm or Ablash, when he freaks out and is like, make her stop. You have to make her stop. I have to call my sister. Where's my phone? She's watching our dad. Oh,
my dad is sick. I mentioned, and I'm sorry that this keeps coming up on the podcast, but it just like my emotional state, and the show keeps touching on it. I mentioned my mom's in the hospital and doing all this stuff when she wakes up in the hospital and is freaking out about her mom and everything, that really, and the overcrowded hospital and everything, that really got to me because of my mom's current situation and COVID making all the hospital run over and everything. But right now, my mom is in rehab, and I am talking on the phone with her case managers and her therapists like an hour or two every day. So I'm getting calls constantly and trying to like make sure she gets the best care and deal. So like it's just ever present in your brain when this goes on. When he woke up and like freaked out about her his dad being in the hospital, and I need to call them. This is my responsibility. I was like, oh gosh, that hurts. So like,
that make you want to call yours?
Yeah. I mean, I literally, when I got off between the live watch and here, I needed to call my mom's case manager. So like, just like, it's kind of ever present. And so that like really like humanized him in such the show with the like acting where they switched from sitcom to so real that it like is hurting visceral. My soul. Like it's visceral in a way that is like directly hurting me, like connecting to what I'm going through. And that is just an amazing thing that they have created that has never been done before. It's freaking awesome. Good job, Norm.
Good job, Norm. Good job, Marvel. In Feige we trust.
Yeah,
like whatever.
And Vision, we got to get a good idea of what's going on in Vision's experience as well, which is he does not remember the world before now. So I'm assuming like maybe when she booted him up or whatever,
she put memories of little baby Vision,
right?
With the pictures of baby Vision. Yeah,
it was pretty. That was pretty amazing.
That was so funny.
The fact that he doesn't remember anything, and man, we talked about when she comes out and how menacing it was when she comes out with the drone, and it was amazing. And when she has all the guns fired aim at Hayward, I think all the fans who are theorizing him being the big bad, which is all of us, right?
All of us, really, yeah.
Like he just seems suspect. Hayward is sus. Like everyone was like fire, but no.
Shoot him!
And he is definitely. He's either the bad guy or he's the guy who's ahead of all of us, because she is clearly pretty villainous. Like she deserves that like amount of suspicion that he is presenting. Yeah. Oh.
Icarus 794 said in chat, Hayward is Hydra.
Okay, we won't say what that's from in case you all haven't seen it, but Hayward is Hydra is an amazing joke from a previous MCU property.
There was a great listener comment that I want to just throw out here because it's so relevant to this. Our Breeze wrote that I think what they're doing with Hayward is too obvious.
Agreed.
I think he's just a dick. He's not a bad guy.
Right.
I think that's exactly right.
He may be a dick, but he's not 100%
an a-hole
or something.
No, I don't believe that anyone's 100% a dick.
Yeah.
So good. Such a good line.
But yeah, that being said, I don't think that Hayward is necessarily the big bad that we're looking for. He's just an antagonist. He's one guy in charge of a government agency who's being
or
a
he's
dick
just,
because that's government agencies.
He's a hard ass government agent that is like trying to defend a town that has been taken over. Like from his perspective, all of his descriptions. I mean, he's playing the Thunderbolt Ross character here when he lays out the case against Wanda. It's like, how many good things has she done? Yeah, she was trained by the Avengers for a minute, but like, it seems like everything we've seen her do has led to like bad.
She oopsed Lagos.
She oopsed.
And
oh my gosh, the Lagos. How do you say
it's
it?
Lagos. It's Lagos.
Okay.
No, it's Lagos if it's in Portugal. The one that's in Nigeria that she damaged is pronounced Lagos.
That's
like
Lagos.
Like Gus.
Like Nagus.
Okay.
Like Nagus from Star Trek, but with an L. Lagos.
Sure.
We've
had somebody in the Facebook group like mention it a lot.
Multiple
they're
times.
pronouncing it wrong.
We're doing it right today. Lagos.
But I
We're
think
fixing it.
No, they do pronounce it as Lagos in the
show.
MCU.
Yeah. Which
It's that they pronounce it wrong in the show. And there's a huge uproar on the internet.
A city called Lagos, but Lagos is this one. Okay. Yep. So he lays out that case, the same sort of case that Thunderbolt Ross did, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. Yeah, she's bad. She's bad.
From his perspective, it's like, oh, I don't know that he's wrong.
Yeah, but then Monica sees the good in her. Monica wants to appeal to her. I am absolutely loving the team of Monica, Darcy, and Wu. Like, we've all talked about
that's
it.
Us.
That felt like. It felt like it felt a lot like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., them trying to solve the case, them walking around, her shooting at her own outfit was awesome. The fact that she converted her outfit to look like it belonged in the town, but it was still Kevlar, that was pretty badass. Like, I want more of that. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's coming back, that sort of idea that like when something goes into the world, it's changed, but it still maintains some of the core elements of the thing, you know?
Right. You don't change the matter, you just change the way it's arranged.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't change the composition, you change the arrangement.
Yeah, or just the appearance, or like whatever. Some of the aesthetic things.
Monica being like super smart and being like, you know what? If it's in the 80s right now, what if we go get tech from the 80s to send in there so it doesn't have to change? Like, oh, Monica, good call, girl.
Monica's smart.
Damn.
She's very smart.
And she has a friend who is an astrophysical engineer or an aerospace engineer. So like, that's got to be Fitz, right? That has to be Fitz.
I don't know about Fitz, but like I'm down. He is an aerospace engineer. He also wasn't in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the last few seasons very much because he was off doing movies. So I wonder.
No, he was here.
Right. He was here. No, he was off doing movies, the actor, and so I'm wondering if he's sort of ascended to that movie level, and like they want to bring him into the movies.
They have to.
He's a good enough actor to be in these movies, and on the Marvel Studio side. So like Fitz. The live chat is all chanting Fitz. I love it. Fitz. Can we just get the live chat for a second? Everyone chant Fitz, so it just like fills up the screen. That would be freaking awesome just to get a screenshot of. Just like 30 people chanting Fitz. Those are the big moments of this episode. Are there any other big moments we want to touch on before we turn to the chat to see what everybody's talking about?
Well, I mean, the Pietro reveal. Oh no, we haven't talked about the Agnes of it all.
Oh,
when
right.
She seems to be outside of the influence of not outside of the influence, but she seems to be like I've said, she's leaning into it, right? Because like when she walks in and it's like, wait, hold on, you want me to hold the babies, right? Should we just take that from the top? Yeah, well, she seems outside the influence, but seems more self-aware than other people have been for sure. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like she seems to be aware of what's going on and leaning into it. In that, like, no, you don't have to control me because I'm going to do what you want. Like, I'll play this part for you as much as you want. Just don't. Right. Don't force me to go back. That sort of portends that theory that everyone has mentioned that like possibly Wanda went to Agnes to be like, hey,
I need your help. If she is this witch character that people are thinking from comics, Agatha Harkness, then possibly Wanda went to her for help bringing Viz back, and then maybe that's why she went to Westview, and then that's what occurred here. And then if she may not be under her spell, she may be just living out the fantasy with her while she tries to bring about these children. And man, it's just crazy.
So Ashley and I have been saying for a little bit, like we told you about the theory that that Mephisto is going to show up here, and then he's going to go into messing with Spider-Man, right? And then Spider-Man's going to be the One More Day story.
Right.
What if it's not? What if Spider-Man's not the One More Day story? What if this is the One More Day story? She wants to bring Vision back, right? And Mephisto offers her a deal.
Yeah.
Provide a vessel for me to come into this world, make this little bubble, and I will give you your Vision back.
Yes. Okay. So for those of you who don't know from the comics, Mephisto is a character who does things like this and sort of making a deal with the devil sort of thing. And that is absolutely possible for what's going on here. Love it.
And this is her One More Day story, because One More Day is about Peter Parker wanting to spend one more day with MJ before having to completely erase that marriage from his life. Man,
it absolutely could be, or it could be One More Day with the added little twist that she's also going to bring these children into the world. Like she always wanted a family with Vision. She always wanted the children. She always wanted Pietro back. All these things she's bringing. I wonder what Agnes's response to Pietro will be. That will be fascinating next episode.
That's going to be the one thing that we need to focus on real hard.
Yeah.
A very important addition here. Nate Muzzy wrote in, everything that Agnes has done has been related to the kids. Setting up the spicy anniversary, bringing the pineapple, which is a symbol of fertility, bringing the rabbit, which is a symbol of fertility, and now everything in this episode was all about the kids.
Yeah, she has definitely focused on the kids. I will say she in the first episode she did help with dinner and things like that. So not everything, but a lot of the things she's doing is helping with the kids.
Well, if she helped with dinner, that could have been to help the anniversary thing along. But it could also just be said that everything that Agnes does is to provide the thing that she needs at the moment. To be there for her with the solution. You have a problem, here it is.
Yep. And Viz calls that out in this episode.
Yes, exactly.
One of the things that Muzzy pointed out that goes to this kids theory is that also it's Agnes who took Wanda to that meeting where all the parents where all the mothers were saying for the kids.
Yeah, for the children, yeah. And Agnes pointed out that Dottie was the key to this whole neighborhood, to everything in the community, and she said getting into the good schools was part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Speaking about the children there.
So I love that. Another thing we haven't really talked about is the kids, and they seem impervious to her control.
Right. Kids, you can't control them no matter how hard you try. That's what Agnes said. And Agnes wasn't freaked out by the kids aging up on a whim.
No, she wasn't freaked out by anything because she's in on it.
She's in on it.
I'm fully convinced
She's an agent
now.
of Mephisto.
Agnes, at least she is in on... She could be Mephisto for all I know.
She could be. But she's in on the whole control of it all.
Yeah, it does seem like she's in on
the
it.
sitch.
And Viz does not seem to know what's going on at all.
Right.
Well, he does seem to know what's going on now, but he doesn't have any memory of the outside world. So what's this all about for him? It does seem like this episode, without any outside information, and the fact that her name's Agnes, and we also thinking she's Agatha Harkness, all that stuff. This episode is in episode reason to think that she really does have outside knowledge of what's going on.
Yep.
So that's all very interesting. So the fact that kids are not under her control was super interesting, and the aging up on purpose was super interesting too. They understand their power, and the fact that they have control over their age, so they don't seem real, in a whole different way than they aren't real.
Right.
They seem like they are self-aware of what's going on in a way that it's weird, and when they're 10 years old and her puppy dies and she starts begging them not to age up, that got me.
She has to beg them to not age up.
Well, that got me because she has been through lots of trauma in her life.
Yeah.
And that made her have to grow up fast. She lost her parents. She lost her brother. She's had to trauma. Sometimes trauma stunts you in some ways, but it also makes you have to kind of force yourself into a frame of mind to, you know what I mean? Like, I guess it seemed like she was begging them not to grow up too fast, which is a sitcom way of saying, like, don't let this trauma, like, cause you to lose your innocence, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really touching.
It was kind of that, like, I felt like it was kind of, please don't lose your innocence, don't grow up too fast. But it was also very much like, you have to sit with this, like, you have to learn how to deal with this grief. You can't just run from it. I am having to deal with grief. I am learning from it. Like, it seems like maybe that was kind of a situation for her to accept that simple truth.
Oh yeah.
And like, she was realizing it as she was saying it.
Well, it was also one big do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is like, oh, don't try to undo death. And she's created a town.
That's exactly what you're doing, Wanda.
To create Viz. And not only that, she says, I can't control death. I can't control death. It's like it gives her the idea to control death, and then she starts looking her like subconscious, which Viz calls that out, that this all might be somewhat subconscious, and she definitely seems surprised by Pietro. It's almost like her subconscious reaches out into the multiverse and pulls Pietro from a different universe into this one, and I cannot wait till he wakes up and says, "Where's Wolverine?" I just can't wait for
Logan?
it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, so let's get to the chat because we are running short on time, and I want to get to some chat things. What you got, Matthew Fox? Let's bring you onto the screen and see what's going on in the chat today.
All right, let me fix my hair. Okay,
yep, you're looking good. You're looking good.
Thank you. All right, so the chat has been very busy. We've got a lot of different comments. I'm going to try and group them up a bit. But first, let's talk a bit about Vision further. Haley Hobbs wrote in that was Vision in pieces at Sword, because it sure looked like it.
Yes, he was.
Then, Harmony also asked, do we really think it was Vision's will to be taken apart? Why would Sword have him? And so that's going to get us into a whole set of questions about Sword and Hayward. But for now, just on Vision. What do you think was going on there?
I think it was in his will. He said he did not want to be anyone's weapon. That was in his will. Yep. But I think they were sort of breaking that contract a little bit by studying him. And that might be, so we've all been talking about Hayward. Hayward might be the big bad. Here's the thing I think Hayward might be. Hayward's the guy who was using Vision to create weapons, and Scarlet Witch found out shortly after Tony's funeral. They've had Vision's body for 5 years. They're studying it. They've got this program, just like the Hydra program in Avengers 1, and then we're going to find out the twist is going to be that Hayward knew all along, and this is why she did this. Like, so it's going to give Wanda a little bit of a hero out, I think, in the end, because it's going to be like she went nuts and like did this whole thing because she found out that Sword was like building weapons based on Vision. So like she's like, whatever humans, I'm gonna do whatever I want because you've stolen my love, and for 5 years you've torn him apart, reassembled him, and made him into an abomination of what he wanted to be. And I think that might be the thing that like turns her to be like, well, she's kind of just a villain. They're like, oh, I kind of see why she did that, you know?
There's actually a question that I wanted to throw out for you guys. I think it's incredibly significant that we learn in this episode, because we're hearing a lot about how no one knows how to stop Wanda. But now we know there's at least one person who can break Wanda's control over people, and that's Vision.
Yep.
I think that's a really significant thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I had talked about that before, probably in the chat or something. Like when we zoomed in on the form that was on the board about Ablash Tandon, it talked about specifically exactly that situation where he touches him and releases Wanda's control over him, and then when he takes his hands off of him, he reverts back or whatever. So I think that that's going to be significant in that Vision is going to have to be like, they're going to have to fight each other at the end of this, and he's gonna have to basically convince her, like, you have to let me go because you're hurting people here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks like. I mean, I tried to get to this earlier and I lost my train of thought, I guess. But I loved how intense that shot was of her dragging the drone out and facing off a sword. But even more intense and interesting was when they both fly in the living room of the 80s sitcom set, and they're like ready to fight inside this little world. Like,
and he's like, stop lying to me. And he points at her. It's like, you don't get to make that decision for me, Wanda. Like, oh, the intensity, Matt, the intensity.
It is real. The intensity is real. Oh my goodness.
Palpable.
So good.
Someone in chat is saying that we sort of got a foreshadowing of the fight that might happen. And one thing I noticed was the pose that Vision went into reminded me an awful lot of the pose that he goes into in the Berlin airport, or the German airport in Civil War. Yeah. And I posted this in the Facebook group a couple of days ago. We're getting a lot of echoes of Civil War. You know, we brought up the Sokovia Accords. We brought up that it's because of Wanda, like what she did in Lagos. Am I sounding
Lagos?
Lagos. That because of what, her mistake that she now wants to clean up, that started the whole chain of civil war and the Sokovia Accords. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting parallels that are happening here. That in some ways, this is it's one more version of that fight of what happens when a person with these incredible powers kind of goes off the rails a bit and who holds them accountable.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And this is an extension. I mean, they mentioned the Sokovia Accords in this, which we've talked about. They said in the past that the Sokovia Accords are not over, like the production people. The Sokovia Accords are still a thing. We know it's 5 years later. Sokovia Accords are still a thing. And like, this is direct. Like they are, Wu comes in and says, that's a violation of section da-da-da-da-da of the Sokovia Accords. That was pretty awesome.
Muzzy also made a great point, because we were talking before about whether it's Mephisto or just Wanda's power, but there's no children anywhere in the playground. And that one of the theories that was postulated was that maybe it's because either Mephisto or Wanda can't control children. Vision is a child. Vision is at still this point like 5 years old.
That's a good point. Kind of creepy because of the whole romantic relationship. But yes, that is true. That he is a child. Oh goodness. And
it's weird though, because like there was what episode 2 was where they were like for the children, but then there are no children in the neighborhood. But I specifically remember in the trailer, in the Halloween episode, there are children all over the place.
That's true. That's true. They're in the trailer. There are children shown. And what does that mean? Does she try to create children now? Can she not create children? I was thinking that it meant that she moved, like possibly that she moved all the children outside of the city before all of this started. Like as to protect them. Like, I'll take over a town, but let me like get the kids out first or something like that.
Let me protect the children first.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me, that she might be willing to cross some lines, but not others. She's still...
It could also be that because Agnes said you can't control children no matter how hard you try, she moved the kids out to be like, I'm going to keep the people that I can control. The thing that I'm going with now, and that is linking to in my head, is you can't control children no matter how hard you try. That's why the Young Avengers come about, because the parents can't control these kids and they want to make their own team.
Oh, that could be fun.
Or like if Wanda's the big bad of Phase 4.
The Young Avengers are the ones that have to stop her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
And then all the adult Avengers are controlled. It seems a little cheesy, honestly, just saying it out loud. Like the kids versus the adults sounds super cheesy.
But that's what the Runaways is all about.
Except, Matt, do you know what it sounds very much like?
What's that?
A 90s show.
Well, sure. But I think we're talking about like a long-term arc. So like if in a Young Avengers movie that happens, whatever, if we know that kids can't be controlled by Wanda, if that's like an established thing and somehow they make that not cheesy, and then we have to like, I don't know, they do it well in His Dark Materials, where like the children are scared of aging up because they'll start getting controlled by certain things. That's a fun thing from His Dark Materials. You guys should watch that. It's good. Any other things in the chat, Fox?
Yeah, we got a bunch more. I'm just going to go through it quickly. So first of all, Monica. A bunch of people were asking about why Monica had that moment of like really tension around the name Captain Marvel. One thing was suggested was that maybe Monica is a Skrull, or that maybe it's about that Monica feels like that Captain America abandoned her and her mother. Would love to hear you guys just chat for a minute about why we think Monica had that moment of tension.
I heard a theory this week that Jeff's not gonna like. It's gonna make him mad. That
don't you do it?
In
don't
Captain
you irradiate
Marvel,
Monica?
In Captain Marvel, she like warms up some. She uses her like powers to like warm up some tea for Maria. And there was like speculation that that's how Maria got cancer. I don't think that one event is what gave Maria cancer, but I do think that all of the experiences with Captain Marvel, maybe out in the universe, were something that she did some things that were too great for a human alone, and it's possible that like whatever experiences she had on a Skrull ship out in space, Captain Marvel was fine, but her human friend, who's just a human, ended up getting cancer from some sort of cosmic radiation. I think that is totally possible that she's the result, that her death is the result of working with Captain Marvel, and then that would be an absolute reason she would hate her. Theory, but it could be.
Yeah, could be. Go ahead, Jeff.
Reed Richards is the one in comics that discovered how to detect Skrulls have replaced a person. Like, I don't remember how he did it, though. It was like some sciencey gadget that he made. But like, what if this X-ray that didn't take on Monica is because she's a Skrull? Like, the X-ray didn't take. It was weird because her Skrull physiology, keeps the X-ray from happening, right? And it's like our first clue.
Possibly.
I mean, it's either that or the X-ray didn't take because she is Spectrum at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that we know in comics Monica has some powers at some point, and I think that maybe whatever she went through in Westview, being thrown out or whatever, might have given her some powers that the X-ray was picking up. And I don't know if we'll see that in this show, or if that'll be a future thing that we'll find out. But it would be cool if she gets involved in the final battle as a meta-human or whatever. And then as we talked about, then she is the sentient weapon that Sword has to work against.
Yep.
Or like try to control.
I do have a counterpoint, though, for your Carol gave Maria cancer thing, you asshole. Is that if it was the tea, then every human that drank that tea would have been also given cancer.
Well, I didn't say it was the tea. That was a theory that was going around. I said it was some experience that she had with Captain Marvel, that maybe she went out into space with Captain Marvel and did some things. She's the plucky human that's like working with Captain Marvel, and then she has consequences that Captain Marvel doesn't. And it's like, Monica is mad because she didn't take care of her or whatever. Anyway.
That's fair. When I heard you going that direction and you were saying that Jeff is going to be mad, I just turned off my ears and was like, I have to run down this thought that I have. I'm going to stop listening to Matt.
Oh, okay, good podcasting.
I don't want to hear this cancer talk.
That's great podcasting right there. Yes, and
it is. It really is.
Listen to your. Okay, Matthew, throw a few more at us. Rapid fire. Let's do rapid fire.
You got it. So Sword. Does anyone find it? Why did they fire a missile at her?
Because Hayward's a dick.
Hayward thinks he can surprise her and take her out. That's it.
Yeah. Related to that also is someone was pointing out, if anyone's going to be involved with what happened to Vision, it would probably be Banner. It actually asked about Tony, but obviously we know that Tony's dead.
Spoiler.
Is Sword keeping this, whatever they're doing with Vision, before Wanda broke in? Are they keeping that a secret from the Avengers?
Absolutely, because we've talked about this, that like, why are the Avengers not there? I think it's because they were doing experiments on Vision, and that's what caused this whole thing. And just like in Avengers 1, when S.H.I.E.L.D. is keeping the Hydra, or the like project, what do they call it? Anyway, they're making Hydra weapons from the Tesseract. I forget the name.
Stage 2 or phase 2.
They're making those weapons just like that. Sword is keeping that from the Avengers because they know that they wouldn't like that they're using Vision's body to make weapons. That's my theory.
Here's the question that I was going to ask, though, about that. Haven't we had that plot line before? I mean, isn't that the plot line of the first Avengers movie?
It's one of them.
Are they kind of repeat? Is it that they just haven't learned the lesson, or is there something different here?
Well, it's a different organization. They haven't had a chance to learn that lesson.
It is a different organization. It's also just an ongoing thing with all of these organizations that, like, the humans always want to take... The humans are scared. of these sentient weapons. I mean, this is the sentient weapon organization. They're scared of them, and they want to have some sort of control, and they're always fighting to have a little bit of power themselves. I don't think that's a like one-time thing. I think that's going to be an ongoing arc forever in comics, because there's always going to be a shadow organization that wants to like the Section 31, the Shield, the all of them. They're all kind of the same.
Vermilion1 asked, and a couple other people have echoed this, that Wanda doesn't seem like she's in full control of things. And that she's doing a lot of it, but something else is happening. And so Vermilion1 asked, is the fact that the team is concluding so early in the story that Wanda's behind everything, does that mean that she isn't? And that maybe there is going to be a truer villain who's revealed in the final act?
Absolutely. I mean, Wanda specifically says, I don't know how all this started. But she also says all of this is for us.
I don't remember when she says that. Is that what she says to Vision?
Yeah, she says to Vision, I don't know how all this started. So, like, that sort of thing, if she actually doesn't know how it all started, then that means that she is under someone else's control.
Or it's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Wanda, and she, like, has let herself be erased on purpose so that she can live in this world happily.
Right. And that sort of thing leads me to that thought again of, what if this is one more day for Wanda, and it's Mephisto that has like orchestrated all of this?
Absolutely. And that could be Agnes, or the I agree that there's some reveal coming. I think it's either all this Mephisto, Agatha Harkness, Agnes, witches, or we're going to just find out something like I just talked about, where like the reason she went after Vision. And like, I think it's pretty clear they were creating weapons. That's my new theory, and I don't like it. I like it.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board.
So I'm just going to give you one last bit of feedback, then we can wrap up. Melissa asked, what do we think of the mailman? He's only been shown twice now, and both times he's super suspicious. Agnes pretended to shoot him in episode 2, and he said in this episode, don't worry, your mom won't let anything bad happen to your dog.
Yeah, she won't let him go too far.
It's a really good point. I mean, we know that the humans are in on it to some degree. They're not in on it. Agnes seems a little more self-aware than others, but they all apparently know what's going on.
There's a file for the mailman on the board, so he's a real person. He's got a license and everything.
But that doesn't mean he can't be in on it.
Yeah, maybe. But the actor who, or I'll put actor in quotes, the guy who plays him is Louis Desposito, who is a producer at Marvel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's I think there's definitely something going on with the mailman. Like, I think we're going to find out where, like, that all these people have some sort of role outside. We kind of know Norm now is a guy who's just caught up in it. But a lot of these people who are taking key roles in the city might have something to do with what's going on. Might have some role in Wanda taking this on or something. The Mailfisto. Just for real in the chat says Mailfisto. Thank you, J. Scotty. That's pretty great. All right, well, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you, Fox, for producing today. Anywhere that people can find your stuff?
Yeah, if you go to theethicalpanda.com, you'll find all the different podcasts I'm doing. They're, of course, also all on the Stranded Panda website. You can also find me on social media, Ethical Panda at Facebook and on Twitter. We're doing a lot of great podcasts. The Clone War episodes are continuing. We're doing something about The Phantom Menace coming up pretty soon. We're going to try and find a few positive things in that movie, because there definitely are some. I'm sorry, not Phantom Menace, The Force Awakens, which there actually are quite a lot of good positive things and some negative. And then on Superhero Ethics, we just recorded a set of episodes about the idea of canon and what happens when you break canon. And we're talking specifically about two movies that have come out in the DC universe, Gotham by Gaslight and Red Sun, both of which look at the characters of Batman and Superman and put them in totally different environments. So that episode should be going up next week. Great things to check out.
Sweet. Yeah, please check him out all over the place. Superhero Ethics and Star Wars Universe podcast are freaking awesome. So thank you, Fox. Thank you, Jeff, for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, chat. You guys are awesome. Really, really helps out to have the outside perspective, especially on these instant casts, and we have no time to think about things. You guys are throwing great ideas out. We'll be back, I guess, on. By the way, are we doing Monday night? Is we're in the evening, correct?
Evening, yeah.
So we've been doing Friday instant watches and Monday feedback episodes. We are going to do the Monday feedback episodes in the evening starting this week. If you are wanting to join, or you maybe haven't had a chance to join, we'll keep you updated on the email and on the chat group and Facebook, both of which you can find in the show notes. Anyway, patreon.com/MCUcast if you want to support the show. We love you. Peace.
Until next time, true believers.
You can hear more conversations like this one on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, available everywhere you get podcasts, or you can find the video version at youtube.com/strandedpanda. Plus, if you want to join in the conversation, just go to strandedpanda.com to find out how.